I apologize for being late. I was outside admiring the beautiful blue light. Huh? Oh, is it? Oh, okay. Okay, so I need to push the button to speak. Again, I apologize for the delay. It's 6:03. This is the Community Development Corporation of Los Fresnos, our regular meeting for Monday, December 7th. It's 6:04 p.m. and I hereby call the meeting to order. Sorry. Father, we thank you so much for today, this opportunity to come together. We pray your wisdom on every decision maker. We pray your blessings on the city and on the businesses that operate here. Father, I just pray that you will guide us, direct us, and that you'll bring healing to this land. In Jesus' name, amen. Okay, under item C, citizen forum, Ms. Jackie, nobody signed up? Nobody yet? It's too late. Under item D, action item, under D1, we're going to come back to that. We're going to move on to D2, consideration and action to acknowledge the November 2020 financial report, A, monthly, B, year-to-date, and C, sales tax report. Mr. Marlin.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman and members of the council. In your packet, you'll see on page 5 is a list of the checks. Those are all that were approved. There's nothing unusual out of the ordinary on that listing, so we recommend the approval of that. And then the next page, on page 6, you'll see the starting the disbursements and the revenue. Just 2 months into the year, which is 16.67%. Sales tax is doing good. We've got 19.81% of the sales tax budgeted in, which is a little over $81,000, and then only 5.23% in expenditures, which is $9,500. The next page, on page 7, we have the total of $81,251 on sales tax. Just so you know, compared to budget would be 68,000. So we already almost 13,000 to the good on sales tax. So doing very well. Page 8, 9, 10, 11 is just the disbursements of each one of those checks and where they go to in our accounting system. And there's nothing unusual or out of place. So just 2 months. So everything is going along well. Page 13 is your sales tax report. And you can see we had another good month. 6%, a little over 6% up over last year. The far column is the CDC portion. The 2 cents is the city and CDC combined together. The middle column, 1.5 cents, is the city's portion, and the 0.5 cent is the CDC portion. So 13.64% last month and 6.3% this month, a total of 9, a little over 9% up for the year. So doing very, very well so far. That's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Martin, for that report. Do I hear a motion?
I'll go ahead and make a motion to acknowledge the November 2020 financial report, A monthly, B year-to-date, C sales tax report.
I heard a second. There's a motion and a second that we acknowledge the November 2020 financial report, A monthly, B year-to-date, and C sales tax report. Any questions, comments, discussion? That being the case, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it, it's unanimous. Under D3, consideration and action to approve sponsorship funding for the 2021 Los Fresnos Rodeo.
If you recall, back on August the 3rd of this year, we came before you asking for the sponsorship for our rodeo, and that was for 12,500, pending our approval for the 2021 rodeo because of the COVID pandemic. Well, the rodeo committee we met last month, November, and with a heavy heart, we voted not to have the rodeo. We canceled the rodeo for 2021. It was a tough decision. We took into consideration the cowboys and cowgirls that come from all over the country. And of course, this COVID is all over. Our directors, which some of them have health issues, our volunteers, everybody involved. It was just a little bit too risky. So we decided not to have the rodeo. We are planning for the 2022 rodeo already. We started. We set some monies aside for the 2022 rodeo. Between now and then, there's several projects that we will be working on, and maybe Jerry can elaborate a little bit on. But those monies that the sponsorship that you had all approved pending our yes or no, and we did tell the CDC that if we did not go ahead with the rodeo, you would not be committed to that 12,500. So That's what we had talked about, and that's where we're at. So, Jerry, you want to add comment on that?
Thank you all for having me this evening, gentlemen. I guess the main thing I want to let you all know that you all have a letter in front of you. I don't need to read it to you. You know what we've decided. I would like to say a few things. We did put something on the website, and we've had a lot of response back. We've had over 18,000 views on the website, and to this date, we have not had one negative comment for us postponing the rodeo, which is I think it's good for us, for our group, for the community, and everybody else involved. We do appreciate you all having supported us in the past. We're going to continue with a scholarship that does not go away. We're here for the youth. We're here for the people of the community. And I would like to say thank you for your offer, and it will not hurt our feelings at all if you decided to go ahead and give us the money anyway. It will be used very, very wisely. And really, that's about all I have to say. We want to thank you all again, and you'll see us again next year for the 2022 rodeo. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, correct me if I'm wrong, this is an action item, so it's still up for vote on, Mr. Milam, for a vote on whether we contribute or not? Or has that been decided?
In the previous meeting, you had decided that if you had a rodeo, you would contribute. If you didn't, that's what the rodeo had asked for. So if you take no action, well, then it just goes away because they're not having the event.
So if we take no action, nothing happens.
Correct. There's no money exchange, no nothing, because they're not having the event.
Okay, well, before we go into whether there's a motion or not, is there any discussion from any of the members on the rodeo?
I guess if this goes away, then you all would come back the following year for 2022, right, and apply it again. Okay.
Or at any point in between, actually, for that matter. Any further discussion, questions? Well, I'll give one question.
Can you still donate money to something that is not going to occur?
That's what I was going to say. My belief is that we don't have to have a rodeo to donate to your organization because it's our call to donate or not. Even though there's not going to be any rodeo, there's still equipment, grounds, expenses need to be taken care of. So my suggestion or my thought at this point is maybe we can cut in half what we have proposed. And then if somewhere along the line between now and the next time you're up for asking for a donation, we can review it again. I don't know what the rest of the board feelings is on that, but that's mine. They're still working these group of volunteers are still having expenses. They're paying out of their pockets for lunches and gasoline and stuff like that. So they could use the money to continue their effort. It won't make them fly, but it'll keep them fluttering anyway. Push the button, George.
Thanks, Jim. Some of the projects we've had to cut back because of funding, so any and all money would really be appreciated. So I just wanted to make that mention. We have cut back on some of the projects, but if anything would help. Thank you.
Is the livestock show gonna be? Okay. Okay. Is there any way that we can combine funding? I mean, if the rodeo's been canceled, and I understand, don't get me wrong, I'm looking for a way to continue to support them. But if something is canceled and you've been a sponsor of it, I guess we need to figure out a way where we can still support it, but be active in both of them. If the livestock show is going to still occur, maybe can we shift that money over, or how can we still provide support for the rodeo committee for the rodeo, but also support the livestock show so that we assist the rodeo committee in survival and maintenance for another year? Mm-hmm.
I think procedurally, Mr. Jones, we are in position to help both. My idea, my suggestion was maybe cut it to 50% because so that we continue to contribute. Is my idea with that is because they're both action items procedurally. We can help one with half of what we were going to donate, and then the other likewise. So rather than cut a figure, let's cut percentages.
Just so you know, what we would do is take the agreement, because there's agreement attached to this, and change the agreement to something that the rodeo would fulfill this year. For instance, like certain projects they might do, particularly with scholarship funding. And so your agreement with them, if half, could be tailored. And if you approve that, then we would redo that agreement that was originally for a bunch of the other things. You would tailor that agreement to take care of the whatever that figure is that you came up with. So that's the way we would do it. And it would be separate from what action you take in a minute for stock show.
So instead, if we did it for scholarships, if we made an agreement for scholarships and for rodeo support, it would still fall under the ability to do that, but not be directly for an event which has been primarily canceled.
The wording in the item on the agenda says approve sponsorship funding, and it is really up to them what they do with the funding that we provide them. I mean, they could fix bleachers, they could buy cows, they could give more scholarships. It's really up to them. So I don't think we need to get any further than just maybe deciding how much, and then let's put it in their hands, and I'm sure they'll use it wisely. So, and I think we need to do the same thing on the next item that's also worded sponsorship. At this point in time, we would have to, I believe, because of the open records and the freedom of information, we would have to rewrite our agenda to move from sponsorship to scholarships, if that makes sense to you. So my feelings on this, and it's not, I'm not shutting everybody down, but my feelings is if someone makes a motion for 50% and it's seconded, we can go on and have a vote on it. Or if nobody makes a motion, then it dies for lack of a motion.
I think it's a good idea, Mr. Chairman, and I was thinking the same. I don't have a problem with supporting them at 50% of the level that we would have supported them otherwise. We typically give, well, in the last couple of years, 12,500. I think I'm comfortable, as you stated, opening a motion or making a motion to give them 50% of those funds and let them decide on how they're going to use it. I know they've got a lot of things to do as well, such as you stated, maintaining grounds and other things, scholarships. And we'll still be directly contributing to our community. So with that, I'd like to motion we contribute 50% of the funds that we had projected.
Do I hear a second? Okay, here we go. We have a motion and a second that we approve sponsorship funding for the 2021 Los Fresnos Rodeo that's not going to occur for purposes of their scholarships and whatever needs that they may have. This would be a change from what we had budgeted and voted on last year. So that's the motion and a second. Do I hear any questions, comments, discussion? That being the case, all in favor say aye. Aye. Ayes have it. The matter passes. 50% of the funding we approved last year is to go to the rodeo. Thank you for all the work you do. Item number 3, consideration and action to approve sponsorship funding for the 2021 Cameron County Fair and Livestock Show.
Good evening. Thank you for having me once again. When we met with you in August, once again, we were unsure about whether we would be able to go on with the Cameron County Fair and Livestock Show. The committee for the Cameron County Fair and Livestock Show is committed to the youth of Cameron County and the youth of Los Fresnos. And after much discussion, we are going to go on with the 2021 show. There will be some changes, okay? We will be changing the date of the show because some of the major shows, Houston and San Antonio, have adjusted their dates. So in order to not conflict with them, we are going to be moving the show to the first weekend in February, which will be February 5th through the 7th. And with that changes of the date, we have also made the decision to decrease the potential for people being too close to each other. We are making these modifications. There will be no home show this year. So there will be no baked goods, no arts and crafts. There will be no shop projects for this year because they all go into that little office area there and it's quite crowded. So we have done away with that for this year. We have also done away with the Kiwi showmanship competition for the goats and the lambs and the hogs. That tends to draw big crowds of people to come and see the little 3- and 4-year-olds show the animals. And so to decrease the number of people being around, we've done away with those Kiwi showmanship. We also have what's called an old-timer showmanship, which we as adults can take the kids' animals and show. That is also a big draw for spectators to gather. We have canceled that for this year, okay? So those are some of the big changes, but the really big change that we have done is we are going to have this show run is the way a lot of the prospect shows are run. This weekend, there was a prospect show in McAllen. There was one in Mercedes. Last weekend, there was one in Mercedes. All around the state, there's what we call prospect shows. And basically, the animals come in, they show, and they go home. So unfortunately, there won't be a lot of overnight stays in the hotel because people will be coming and going home. That's a negative, but it will decrease the number of people that we have here at one time on showgrounds, okay? So what will happen is the cattle will come in, they will show, and they will go home. The next day, the lambs and goats will come in, they will show, and they will go home. The next day, we will have the rabbits come in and they will show. And while the rabbits are coming in, we will also be having the pigs come in because the pigs are kind of a different breed and they don't walk very well. They take a little bit more maneuvering. And so we will have the pigs come in, they will show, and they will go, they will come in one day and go home the next. They will be the only ones that will stay overnight. So we're doing this to decrease the number of people that would be in the show barns, okay, and decrease the number of people hanging around, okay. Most people, I went to the prospect show last weekend, and most people there were very conscious of being 6 feet apart in the bleachers. People that are showing, we all know, 6 feet apart, wear your mask where it covers your nose and your mouth, wear it properly. And, you know, if you're sick, stay home. We also, Texas A&M has a form, a waiver form that says, you know, I do not have any of these symptoms. We have modified the form, and I forgot to send it to Mr. Milam. I've had a lot of things going on. But in that form, we have added the City of Los Fresnos, the Lions Club, the CDC, so that way nobody's held liable for you coming and, you know, you're coming and you're saying that you're healthy when you come to the show. So they will all be asked to sign that form as well. So we're doing all we can to make the show as safe as possible. And if somebody's not going to be cooperative about wearing a mask, I will ask them to go home. Because if I see you in the grocery store and you don't have your mask on properly, I tell you, you need to wear your mask properly. Okay? So I'm not going to flinch from telling somebody you need to go home. And if I need to call security, I will call security. Because, you know, this is for the kids. We're doing this for the kids so they have the opportunity to show their animals and work towards the scholarships because, you know, we give $10,000 worth of scholarships. The rodeo gives $10,000 of scholarships. And so it's for the kids, right? We want to give them their opportunity. And I'll tell you, kids are ready to show because they have their animal projects. They've had their projects, some of them since March. Some in the summer, some in the fall. But they're ready to show, and they're showing. They're showing. And so I would hate to take away from the City of Los Fresnos and not have the show for the kids. So those are the changes that we've made with the show. The Queen's Contest will go on. Once again, to keep people from being indoors where it might be crowded, we have opted to, Dr. Miller has opted that we're going to utilize the show barn, and we're going to put a stage over there, and the Queen's Contest will be held at the barn here on the showgrounds, and we will only open it up to seniors. That would be those girls that would then go on to become the rodeo queen the following year. So this way, the rodeo will have their queen for 2022. So we hate to take away from that aspect of the rodeo. So we have decided to do that. Once again, to decrease the number of people being there, having just those girls that would be competing for what we call the cowgirl or the senior queen. Those are the changes that we've done in hopes to decrease the likelihood for COVID. And a shot is coming, so hopefully we'll be everybody getting immunized soon in the near future. But that's our plans, and so we hope you consider to continue to support the show for the kids of Cameron County. Any questions?
What is the amount of scholarships you give?
We gave out $10,000 last year.
And I believe you said that's the same thing the rodeo does? Anybody else have questions? I am second guessing now myself about cutting the sponsorship funds available to the rodeo because I wasn't aware that you gave out that much. So you're in a deficit, and But we've already gone through that. I don't know that we want to put you in the same position. Anybody have comments on that?
On the last item that I have a question, sorry. The last item that we voted to give, the rodeo 50%. Was that included for them to give them 50%? Because they're gonna have it, but they're not. Just the rodeo, was that, I thought it was both. No? Okay, so 50%, but they're having theirs, so we're giving them the full amount. Correct?
Procedurally, we can give anything that we want to them right now because we haven't voted or talked about it. We're in the discussion phase. My comment had to do with what we just did to the rodeo.
Right.
And that needs to be readdressed maybe at a future meeting or something. I was not aware that the amount of scholarships is equal between both parties. So, but that's something to be addressed because we can't go back now. But so now our agreement was for $7,500. Is that correct?
9, sir, I believe.
Okay. Yeah. Questions, comments, discussions? Anyone?
What amount are we looking for now? For the livestock show? The 9,000? Okay.
I believe so. Yes, they are here asking for 9,000.
Yes, sir.
So, no further questions, comments, discussions. Do I hear a motion?
Since you've already approved it, they were basically giving you a report of where they stand, that they're gonna do their show, so taking no action just continues, and we already got the agreement signed, and we can move forward with the funding as is, the $9,000. So this was just if you had decided to make a change, because they made changes, and from the conversation, it doesn't seem like that's what you want, so you don't need to make another motion to approve 9. It's already there, so if you're good with that, just move on and take no action, because we already had the agreement in place.
So inaction will work.
Yes.
Okay, if there's no motion, then it stays at 9,000.
Thank you, gentlemen.
There being no motion, we stay where we were as of last year. My words to the rodeo is you can always come back next month. Mike? Okay, under D5, we have consideration and action to approve advertising in the Los Rendos News, Business, and Service Directory.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, this is a directory that actually Los Rendos News puts on, but we work with them as well as the chamber. And if you'll look at the screen, he's going to put up, there it is. The business directory, what we're trying to do is push a lot of the things that we've been doing at the nature park to attract people instead of it's just a walking trail for us here in town, which is fantastic and good, but begin to push for burgers to come, people to come and come there, go eat breakfast at Julio's or Angel's or one of the other restaurants and eat lunch. And so this is a business directory that they put out, and I think it's next page, right? It's 2 pages. That's busy. Yeah. And it gives more information on what we actually have there, and it's really becoming a very nice place to go, and a lot of multiple things to do. So we recommend approval of that funding.
I would make a motion that we approve the $650 for advertising in the Los Fresnos News business and for the Los Fresnos News and how we get worded, business and service director.
Is there a number attached to that motion?
Yes, I said 650.
Is there a second?
I want to.
A second.
There's a motion and a second that we approve for advertising in the Los Fresnos News and Business and Service Directory in the amount of $650. Any questions, comments, discussion? That being the case, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it, it's unanimous. Before we go on to let's go on to E1, CDC Consultant Report, November 2020, an annual recap under A, 2020 highlights, and B, 2021 recommendations.
Okay. Thank you.
If it's red, it's on.
Yes. Good evening. I wanted to take this opportunity in the closing of the year, December, that to give you a recap. As you can see in the report provided you, on the recap of several larger items we've undertaken with the CDC from 1 through 9 there. If you have any questions. But Los Fresnos is in a very opportunity situation today, and it's a fastest growing small city in Cameron County. And along the coast, we're a city of commercial plazas, small businesses, restaurants, and distributorships. We have Walmart's presence that has expanded shopping and sales in Los Fresnos as we have experienced our positive sales tax growth, etc. And we have a major employer, private employer, that provides almost 1,000 jobs 24 hours at CHS. We're very fortunate to be in that situation. But first, before I go any further, I do want to take the opportunity to thank all our frontline heroes. Obviously, it's done a great job for us throughout. We've helped several businesses with the CDC activity. Has provided opportunities in science, landscape, and storefronts. And appreciate that. We have had plenty of referrals of businesses locally and others that inquire with us throughout the year. Not only businesses that are looking for sites mostly or development, and we respond to them. We produce flyers in conjunction with our partners in promoting the Fresnos that you are continuing working through these days to fund promotion of over 500 posters throughout South Texas, from Corpus Christi and Costa Bend down to the Rio Grande Valley, and it was very positive. We had the greatest, smallest rodeo and livestock show program before the COVID. It was fantastic. The promotion was tremendous. We have partnered with Workforce and other organizations, but mostly Workforce because of their funding and helping our small businesses. We continuously communicate with our Workforce out of Brownsville, and provide opportunity, not only in training, which was the only program this year in the entire Cameron County of any small city of our size that did actually training, skills training improvements for our community, and we thank you for that. We have ventured with your support into ecotourism, which is important. As you can see, and he's going to go through the slides, Mr. Milam did a presentation to the UTRGV symposium. It was a tremendous result. Over 700 persons tuned into that presentation, the entire symposium, but through the presentation. So our word is getting out about the investments that you're all making to develop more business opportunities for our restaurants, our hospitality businesses, etc. It's all part of the economy. And if you can just show some of the presentation there quickly, 2 seconds while I'm talking, and continue it. Mr. Milam did a tremendous presentation. And we're going to continue looking for opportunities to expose these natural venues that we have along, as well as what we partner with in promoting our community. So the Fresno's Rodeo, the Conjunto, hopefully coming next year. It's the Conjunto Rodeo Livestock Show. We even assist in promoting air show because it's in our market area and others. We thank you for that. Part of our program is to look into the future. Oh, let me see if I forgot one. Oh, of course, we're working with the Chamber. Chamber's been very supportive getting the word out, and it's been a tremendous partnership. Finally, in 221, our recommendations is, of course, to continue all this activity as we get the cure for the virus and begin to rebuild our economy. But we're going to step into it with our promotions. As you can just see, we're looking ahead and where you just approved. This brochure, this last year, you have it in front of you. Look at what we just approved. Your image is everything in a community, and for any business, and your image is expanding. Thank you. So, continue our successes by continue our momentum. Also, we're going to expand our momentum in sending these posters and other information about the Fresno to franchises. As we're reopening the economy, franchises are going to be looking at a new businesses, sites, and opportunities. So we'll be expanding that activity as well. Oh, by the way, excuse me, I've had some work done in my dental work done in my job. So ecotourism is a big push for us next year. In our hospitality business, our hotels, our RV parks, etc. We're going to be pushing forward or moving forward in diversifying our activities even more so. You have the assets, you've invested in it. Let's get going with our economy. We're going to continue our dialogue with Comprehensive Health Services. In fact, today we received information about another program that we're trying to hook up with them for more training opportunities for major employers as well as small businesses that we're working with. We're working, for example, another area of work is trying to keep employees in town. USDA asked us to seek a facility for them, 3,800 square feet, because the county, they have to vacate that county building we have. That's 25 employees. Our office has been working real hard to try find a site for them in town. We don't want to lose those 25 jobs. Those jobs are important. Some are living in the area, or commute and eat here, or visit, or even just get the word out about the shred. So we work real hard with that. President. Implement additional projects. From time to time, we have nonprofits come in.
And we activate our officer capacity, and we work with, for example, the summer youth program. Hopefully, as the COVID improves, the summer youth, and these are kids that are coming up throughout the state, through our churches. We work with them too to get the word out back when they go home about the greatness and the beauty and the great attitude that we show here in Los Fresnos. Finally, I think it's important to chairman, committee members. This year we set up, you allowed us to set up last year, well this year, a committee for doing the work out there at the park. It worked because we got a lot of talent. In fact, we added another person to the committee that was working with it, to us, that knows about plants. Now I got somebody about from the community that her name is Priscilla Roses, and she's now in our committee. You know, she's an expert at plants. I have an expert at birding. I have an expert in butterflies, and I think we're pretty expert in economic development. So by the combination of local talent and involvement, if it works again, I told Mr. Mylan, and I'm asking you, if we can set up a business planning committee comprised of community reps to identify needs and seek new ideas to assist our local businesses and expand the Los Fresnos brand. In addition, this approach will establish a forum for input of local businesses and landowners to explore possible strategies that will aid in bringing new investments and jobs. Because that's the big umbrella of CDC. We're an Economic Development Corporation, EDC, under the state of Texas. And I know that we had this input and it works, and we continue to do projects. I'd like committee to tell me to the point, allow us to give you recommendations or seek volunteers to work with us. We just have a dialogue and bring you new ideas as we come into this new economy, or rebuilding our economy. With that, I also wanted to give a lot of credit, not only to you, that really been very supportive, but to our intern. She has a report in the back. She does a lot of work, I'll be honest with you. And some of the points that I just mentioned in the front, you can see that expanded. This brochure, for example, and the new one, we have locations with all these locations that you have listed on her report attached. And she's a very, very, very supportive, very helpful at all times. I work part-time, she works part-time, but we work all the time. Some available day and night, weekends. And for example, we're going to have this Saturday, we're going to have a plant, wildflowers plant day in conjunction with the Rotary and the Chamber. But it rained us out. Hopefully we'll do it this week. But the more we push our positive assets that we have here, we'll be able to bring more people in stock or live here or invest here. And I think our nature park, the $2.5 million with our hike and bike trail, that what we've invested there at the CDC is going to be and continue to invest to expand our economic opportunities, that you will see results at the restaurant, more people stopping or buying a house or investing in buying a site to do a distribution center. So I thank you. This is my report. If you have any questions about 221, thank you for 220 and being so supportive.
Thank you for that report, and thank you for your hard work. I was speaking with someone today, and I told them that, we need to sustain and continue our march toward improving the community. And I think all of us working together are doing that. And I think it's a great deal. It's important that we continue this march, not necessarily accelerate it or slow it down, but just continue, march forward, keep going, and we're getting places. And, you know, our goal, I guess, and it's becoming more and more true, is Los Fresnos is becoming a destination. People aren't coming here saying, well, I'm going to go to the island or I'm going to pass through Los Fresnos. They're coming here to see our nature park, our park, what we have to offer the community. And, you know, one of the signs of being successful is envy. And, you know, you reach a point where other communities are envious of what we're doing. And I think that that's true. And I think that's a good thing. It's not envy in a bad sense. It's envy in a good sense. So thank you for your hard work, Mr. Martinez, and you too. Young lady, you're wonderful. We see your work. You don't hear from us, but we see it.
Mr. Chairman, could I make a few comments on the nature park, please?
Absolutely.
As a bird watcher, I'm connected with several groups in the area, and I know of at least two birding organizations that have already visited our park and have left very positive comments. And these are pretty much established groups that have been around for many, many years. So that's a great thing. Also, as a birder, many of us connect with Cornell University in New York, and they have a worldwide reporting system. And the nature park is part of that system already, listed as one of the many Texas hotspots. For example, there's 131 species of birds that have already been identified in the park. Okay, that's 34% of what could possibly be in this area. We'll never get them all. The habitat's not there for all, but that's not a bad percentage. There's been 73 reports into eBird from the park. That doesn't, and there's a lot more birdies than that. And some of those are, like my wife and myself, multiple reports. But it does show that the park is getting used and that word is getting out. So we're on the right track. We'll just keep it up. Thank you.
Hear, hear. Moving on to item F, under 1, the report by the general manager. Weather A, weather station. B, park benches. C, nature park update. D, infrastructure project, caution lights. E, blue light police officer appreciation campaign. Mr. Miles.
Good evening again, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. I'm happy to say we have the weather station in. It's not up yet, but it's here. So we've got our folks looking in the different components to get it installed. As we mentioned, there is an app that we'll be able to download and at any time get the current weather. I think it even has a forecast module to it. So hopefully the next few weeks or so, that'll get installed. Our park benches, I have not ordered them yet. I'm still looking for the right one that can be used as a bench, but also if someone wanted to, we have people from time to time want to donate a bench and can put funding provided by Tom Jones or whatever in memory of that looks really nice. So I've got a couple that I'm looking at and probably decide in the next few days for that. Nature Park, I think we've covered that pretty well. Lots of things happening and continue to happen there. Very, very, very good things happening. The caution lights are still on order through for our emergency vehicles and through the state. So we're expecting them anytime. Blue light police officer appreciation campaign. If you noticed the blue lights, we've got them up. We've got them at all of our facilities. We have some flags that represent blue line officer appreciation. We've gotten a lot of positives. I will say that we've gotten a few negatives, saying that we're being divisive. I've tried to show them what we are about. We're not in the political arena that has happened over the country. Don't care what that has. The flag that you see is an accepted use of it. It's some complaints we've gotten that it's not an acceptable use, and it's a degrading to our U.S. flag, which the folks that are in that business say that's not the truth. So there is a group that calls themselves the Blue Line, like a gang type of people that in opposition to the Black Lives Matter movement. And so I just said, we're not involved in any of that. All we're wanting to do is promote our local police officers and our community and surrounding areas. So if you hear that, that's what it is. I've had a pretty good response to what the flag stands for. You can Google it, but I put something together. I'll forward it to you. I'll have your email, so I'll forward it to you so you can have, in case somebody asks you. We're doing it to support. We're not taking a political stand. So in case you hear something, that's what it is. Any questions? That's all I have.
That concludes your report, Mr. Marlin.
Mr. Monum, I just wanted to comment. Excuse me. I think the community looks great with the blue lights and the blue flags, and I agree that it's a universal signal. The flag is a universal sign, so to speak, to support our police officers. I think it's a great idea. I wish you wouldn't have had to put up with some of those comments that were made, but it's unfortunate. But I want to personally thank you for doing that, because I as well am supportive of our police officers and first responders.
I also have one more thing with that. We have some yard signs that are available for you, for other people. If you want to take 2 or 3 or 4 and give them around, if you know someone would like to put one in their yard, we've got them right here. Maybe Bianca will help grab one, or Jackie, as soon as the meeting's over. We've got them right there available for you.
Thank you, Mr. Marlin, for your report. And once again, this is an example of the march I was talking about a few minutes ago with Mr. Martinez. This is a great example of how we're marching, and we're marching forward, and we're progressing, and we're doing things for our community. And it gives us what we're here after, and that's a good feeling about being a part of this community and feel like we do something for it. Thank you again, Mr. Marlin. Moving on to item G, committee reports and actions that may be appropriate. We'll take the quick route on this one. Anybody have anything to report? That being the case, maybe some of you got the opportunity to go back and review the minutes of November 2nd, 2020. They were handed out to us at the beginning of the meeting. I've reviewed them, and they seem to be in order, unless someone else has and would like to point something out. I don't want to leave this item pending. If we can take care of it. Do I hear a motion? We approve the minutes of November 2nd, 2020.
I'll go ahead and make the motion to approve the minutes for, sorry, the minutes for November 2nd, 2020.
I'll second it. I'll second that motion.
Okay, we have a motion and a second that we approve the minutes as indicated to us by our packet of November 2nd, 2020. Any questions, comments, discussion? That being the case, all in favor, say aye.
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 Ayes have it, it's unanimous. Last thing on the agenda is